Hi students, welcome to this video segment. My name is Samuel Chukwu Emeka. As usual, in this video session we shall discuss division of polynomials. Now we basically have two methods for dividing polynomials. We have the long division and we also have the synthetic division. So, some people prefer the long division, some people prefer the synthetic division. But in this video, actually, we shall just do a simple division. This is the first part of division of polynomials. In other videos, we shall now look at the long division, and then later we will look at the synthetic division, so that whichever one you like, you can take. So in this video, we shall start from the simple ones, the simple division, and we shall do basically when you talk about division of polynomials, it could be division of polynomials by a monomial. And then it could be division of polynomials by other polynomials. Now, what I mean by other polynomials is if it is not a monomial, then we can call it other polynomials. That is what I mean by that. Okay, so in this video, we shall only focus on division of polynomials by a monomial. Next video, we shall talk about this, and then we can discuss the long division. Before you begin this video, it is important that you view the videos on Exponent. Exponent is the prerequisite. The prerequisite is all the videos on Exponent. All the videos on Exponents. It's very important before you begin this video. Okay, I think we should get started. Let's get started. So let's get started by solving questions, okay? It is important that you view the videos on Exponents before you view this video. It is highly recommended. Now, the first question says 70p4 minus 30p squared plus 10p divided by 2p. Okay, we shall look at two ways by which we can do this. I will tell you the easiest way, which I believe is the easiest, but some of you might want to do it another way. Okay, I will first of all start with the easiest way to divide this. So before you do this, actually, recall this. When you have in fractions, okay, in fractions, remember when you have maybe something like 2 over 7 plus 3 over 7, right? Because this has the same denominator, the 7 is the denominator, you can easily now add the numerator because it has the same denominator. So this is now 2 plus 3 all over 7. So the same way, okay, the same way by which you can do this, you can also reverse it. So if you can call this, then if you can call this to be this, then you can also reverse it. So when you have 2 plus 3 divided by 7, it is the same thing as saying 2 over 7 plus 3 over 7. So look at it that way. Okay? Now, this is arithmetic because we are dealing with only numbers. The same thing here when we deal with algebra, constants and variables, that's numbers and letters. The same way you did this, 2 plus 3 divided by 7, because this is a single term, a monomial, remember this is a monomial. For this video, we shall only look at division by monomials. You can now split this up, that this is 2 out of 7 plus 3 sevenths, 3 sevenths. So, in this case, this means that this is the first method. This means 70p raised to power 4 divided by 2p minus 30p squared divided by 2p plus 10p divided by 2p. So, just like when you have this, it goes back to this. So now we can now divide, right? 2 divide 2 will give you 1. 2 divide 17 will give you 35. And of course, if you look at the laws of exponents, p raised to power 4 divided by p, they are the same base, so you subtract the exponent. So this will be 35p 4 minus 1, because this is something like saying that this is p1, p raised to power 1. So this is like 35p 4 minus 1. Then 2 divide 2 will give you 1. 2 divide 30 is what? 15. Or you just do 30 divided by 2, 15. Whichever way you want to do it. So this is minus 15. This means p raised to power 1. So this is p2 minus 1. Okay? Plus, here, 2 divide 2 gives you 1. 2 divide 10 gives you 5. So, and p divides p gives you 1. Or you can say 5p 1 minus 1. Remember, p raised to power 0 is 1. Anything raised to power 0 is 1. So this will now be 35p cubed minus 15p, 2 minus 1 is 1, then plus 5. Because, why? Because 5p raised to power 0 means 5 times 1, which is 5. So, or you can just do p divide p. 5 divided by 5 is 1. 20 divided by 20 is 1. Shoe divided by shoe is 1. Samdom divided by Samdom is 1. Mr. C divided by Mr. C is 1. P divided by P is 1. So this becomes your answer. Okay, this is the method I prefer to use. And that is the method I'm going to use to solve the rest of the questions. Now, what if you don't like this method? Some folks don't like it. No problem. Try this method then. You might wish to set it up like the division process. You might want to set it up like the division process that you are used to. In this case, we will now do 2p divide 70p4 minus 30p squared plus 10p. Okay? So, in this case, we do it the same way we've been doing it. Like your division process, you do 70p4 divided by 2p. Now, it is good to kind of bring out a rough work. So I'm going to bring out my rough work here. I will just come over here and draw a line, and then I'll write rough work here. So I will first of all do the first term here divided by the first term here. So 70p4 divided by 2p. And this will give me what? 35p cubed. So it's still like the same process actually. You know, you divide and then you multiply. So this is 35p cubed. And you do 35p cubed times 2p gives you 70p4. And of course, what in the division process, your the division process, this is minus. So 70p4 minus 70p4 is 0. Then after that, you bring down, okay, minus 30p squared. Then you now do minus 30p squared divided by 2p. And that gives you negative 15 minus 15p. Then you go back here and you put minus 15p. Then you now do minus 15p times 2p. It gives you what? Minus 15p times 2p. So it gives you minus 30p squared. So you come over here, you write minus 30p squared. Now this process will be good when we do division by binomials. It's going to be good. So this is still minus. So this is minus 30p squared minus minus 30p squared. Right? And that gives us plus. If we do minus 30p squared minus minus 30p squared, these two negatives gives you a positive. So this is minus 30p squared plus 30p squared, and this gives you 0. So this is 0, and then after that you bring down 10p plus 10p. And then you now do 10p divided by 2p. If you don't mind, I can erase this so that I will have some space. So you now do 10p divided by 2p, and this gives you what? 5. So this is plus 5, and then you do 5 times 2p, and it gives you 10p. You write 10p, and then you put your negative sign here. 10p minus 10p is 0. 0. So this is pretty cool if you look at it this way. Okay, now 2p here is what we call the divisor. The 2p is what we call the divisor. The 70p4 minus 30p squared plus 10p is what we call the dividend. Is what we call the dividend. Then 35p cubed minus 15p plus 5 is what we call the quotient. And then 0 here is what we call the remainder. The remainder. So we have the divisor, the dividend, the quotient, and the remainder. In any division process, I repeat, in any division process, you are concerned with these 4 terms. Any division process at all. Whether you're dividing numbers or you're dividing variables, anything at all that is called a division process, you're concerned with these 4 terms. Dividend. Dividend is the term that is being divided. The term that is being divided is what we call the dividend. Divisor is the term that is dividing. You see, 2p is dividing the 70p4 minus 30p squared plus 10p. The term that is dividing is what we call the divisor. Quotient. Quotient is the answer you get, or the result of the division. The result of the division. The result of the division is what we call the quotient. And then the remainder is the term remaining after the division. After the division is what we call the remainder. So this 4 terms is always used in the division process. It is very important that you know the dividend, divisor, quotient, remainder. Let's look at an example. When you have this, when you have 8 divided by 2, you can write it this way, or you can say 8 over 2. This is read as 8 divided by 2, or 2 divide 8. Now, we shall be using the correct syntax. I'm explaining this in this first video because as we go to the second video, I probably will not have the time to explain all this again. So you have to refer back to this video. Now, I need to have some space if you've written this down. Okay, so we shall be using the correct syntax. Every language has a syntax. Every language. So when we have 8 divided by 2, or we can write it as 8 over 2. Okay? Is read as 8 divided by 2. 8 divided by 2. Or you can say 2 divide 8. So it's important you say the correct syntax. Now if we have this now, 2 divided by 8. Of course, 8 divided by 2 gives you what? 8 divided by 2 gives you 4. Remainder 0. So this is now 4 is the quotient and the remainder is 0. So it's 4. So you can say 4 remainder 0, or you can write it as this. 4 0 over 8. No, 4 plus 0 over 8. You can write it as 4 plus 0 over 8. Yeah, I'm sorry for that. It's not 4 whole number, 0 over 8. 4 plus 0 over 8. Or you can write it this way, 8 divided by 2 to give you 4 whole number, 0 over 2. This is 4 plus 0 over 2. My bad. So you can write it any of this. You can write it like this, any of these 3. When you have 8 divided by 2, this is 4 remainder 0, or 4 plus 0 over 2, because this is the quotient plus the remainder over the divisor. Or 4 whole number, quotient whole number, remainder over divisor. Or you can simply write 4, because the remainder is 0. 4. So, any of these ways will work. Any of these will work. Okay. Now, remember this is read as 8 divided by 2 or 2 divide 8. Take note of that. Now, what if we have this? What if we have 2 divided by 8? We can write it as 2 over 8. It's read as 2 divided by 8, or 8 divide 2. That is what it's read as. It's 1 over 4, which is a 0.10 is 2 times 4, 8, 25, 0.25, an improper fraction. All right. So this is kind of the basics that you need to know before we continue the question. Before we continue, we solve other questions. You can either choose to do any of the 2 methods you like. That's fine. But for this video, I will just do the first method I used so that we can be fast about it. Okay? So we're going to solve other questions as well. I'm going to use the two parts of this board so I can solve other questions. Okay, question 2. 30J5 minus 20J4 plus 5J squared all over 5J squared. So this will be 30J raised to power 5 over 5J squared, 5J raised to power 2 minus 20J raised to power 4 over 5J raised to power 2 plus 5J squared over 5J squared. You can pause the video here and solve it on your own. Then you can check whether you got it right. Okay, so 30 divided by 5 is what? 6J. 5 minus 2 is what? 3. So this will give us 6J cubed. Okay? I'm going to kind of skip some steps. I did all the steps in question 1 so that so that the video won't be so long. Minus 20 divided by 5 is 4. J, 4 minus 2 is 2, 4J squared, plus 5 divided by 5 is 1. 5J squared divided by 5J squared is 1. Yeah, because this is J. 5 divided by 5 is 1. J, 2 minus 2 is J raised to power 0. Anything raised to power 0 is 1. So 1 times 1 is 1. So you have 6J cubed minus 4J squared plus 1. Okay? The next one is number 3. We have 10K raised to power 8 plus 10K raised to power 7 plus 15 divided by 5K. So here, this will be what? 10K 8 over 5K plus 10K raised to power 7 over 5K plus 15 over 5K. Okay, for this video, we don't want negative exponents. Right? We don't want negative exponents. We only want positive exponents. So, this is 10 divided by 5 is 2. Then K, 8 minus 1. 8 minus 1 is what? 7. Right? Plus 10 divided by 5 here is 2. Then this is K. 7 minus 1 is 6. Now plus, if you look at this, 15 divided by 5 is 3, right? But this is, there's no K here, right? And of course, if you must put K, it will be K to the power 0. Because anything to the power 0 is 1. But instead of us to do 3K, then 0 minus 1, negative 1. We don't want negative exponent. Now this, if you want negative exponent, then the answer will be this. If you want a negative exponent. But we don't want a negative exponent. So we just leave it like this. That 5 into 5 is 1. 5 into 15 is what? 3. So this will be 3 over K. If you want a negative exponent, then this K will come up here and it will be K raised to power negative 1. If you view the videos on exponents, recall that a negative exponent is the reciprocal of a positive exponent and vice versa. It is important that you view the video on exponents so you know the laws of exponents. So that is question 3. Now the next question is number 4, so we can finish up. Question 4, negative 8x raised to power 7 plus 7x raised to power 5 minus x raised to the power 4 all over negative x raised to the power 5. Yeah, I will do variety of questions so that you can be familiar with it. Now, it is good that you pause the video, pause it before you continue. So this will be negative 8x raised to the power 7 over negative x5. X raised to the power 5 plus 7x raised to the power 5 over negative x raised to the power 5 minus x raised to the power 4 over negative x raised to the power 5. Now, do not be confused of all these negatives. It is just treat it as that this negative is minus. If you view my video on adding, addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division of integers, there is no difference between minus and subtract. No difference. So whether you say minus, or whether you say negative, or whether you say subtract, it means the same thing. Don't get confused. So sometimes students get confused and they put their own signs here. Don't do that. Don't add your own signs. Just do it as you see it. Do it as you see it. Negative divided by negative. Just do this whether you say negative or minus. Do it as you say it. Don't be scared of it. So negative or minus, you can call this minus 8x raised to the power 7. You can say minus 8x raised to the power 7, or you can say negative 8x raised to the power 7. It is the same thing. So negative divided by negative, or minus divided by minus is plus. Then 8 divided by 1, because this means like 1x raised to the power 5. But we do not write 1. We do not. But if you want to write 1 so that you don't get confused, you can do that. Because I've worked with several students and they get confused if they don't see 1. So you can write 1x. Nobody will penalize you for that. I will not penalize you for that. But some instructors might say, okay, 1 means, why don't you just write x? Now, let me give you an example. If I tell you now, hey, James, please, can you give me pen? P. Let's say P, pen is P. And I say, James, can you give me P? Can you give me pen? Now, how many pens am I talking about? 1. Now, if I need 2 pens, I'll ask for 2 pens. James, may you please give me 2 pens? James, may you please give me 3 pencils? But if I just say, James, may you please give me pencil? James would think that I mean 1 pencil. So, instead of, excuse me. So instead of saying pencil, 1 pencil, we can just say pencil. So instead of saying 1p, we can just say p. It still doesn't matter. Okay? But some students get confused if they don't see 1 here. If you get confused, then put 1. But please, for the meantime, I will remove the 1. Okay? But if you get confused, put it. No problem. Nobody will penalize you for that. Okay. Negative divided by negative is positive. 8 divided by 1 is 8. Then x. 7 minus 5 is 2. Right? Then positive, whether you say plus or positive, it is the same thing. Do not add your own signs. Just treat it as it is. Positive divided by negative is negative. 7 divided by 1 is 7. 5 minus 5 is 0. X raised to the power 0. Which gives you 1. Then negative divided by negative is what? Positive. Positive. Then this is x raised to the power 4 minus 5, negative 1. But we don't want negative exponent. We don't want it. So this will be 8x squared minus 7 plus 1 over x. We don't want negative exponent. No. 8x squared minus 7 plus 1 over x. Now, if you are confused about this, because some folks might be confused about this, how did I get 1 over x? See what you do. Because I know the questions that students ask. They will add x raised to the power 4 over x raised to the power 5. If you look at the laws of exponents, it means x raised to the power 4 minus 5, which is x raised to the power negative 1, which is 1 over x. But if you don't want to see it this way, let's say you don't want to see it this way, this means x times x times x times x all over x times x times x times x times x. You see that? So x cross out, x cancel here, x on numerator cancel x on the denominator, x numerator cancel x denominator, x numerator cancel x denominator, and you have 1 over x. So, plus 1 over x. If you want to deal with it, I mean, as easy as you can. Alright. The next one, question 5. Negative 30t 4 plus 39t cubed minus 9t squared minus 25t plus 2 divided by negative 3t. So we just do it step by step. So this is what? Negative 30t 4 over negative 3t plus 39t cubed over negative 3t minus 9t squared over negative 3t minus 25t over negative 3t plus 2 over negative 3t. Right? So negative divided by negative is positive. 30 divided by 3. Now, you see, we are doing constants first before we do variables. It is important. It is very important we do the constants first before we do variables. So negative divided by, we do the signs first, then we do constants, then we do variables. So signs first, then constants, then variables. Negative divided excuse me. Negative divided by negative is positive. 30 divided by 3 is what? 10. Then t, 4 minus 1 is 3. Then here, positive divided by negative, just do it like you see. Okay? Is what? Negative. 39 divided by 3 is 13. Then t, 3 minus 1 is 2. T cubed divided by t is t squared. Then here, negative divided by negative is positive. 9 divided by 3 is 3. T squared divided by t is t. 2 minus 1 is 1. Then here, negative divided by negative is positive. 25 divided by 3 is not going to work. We can't divide it. Please leave it as an improper fraction. Okay, do not convert it to a mixed number. So this will be 25 over 3. T divided by t is 1. Okay, then positive divided by negative is negative 2 over 3t, because you can't divide 2 over 3. You can't divide it, so you just leave it as that. Because 2 over 3 is a fraction, is a proper fraction. Leave it as a fraction, not as a decimal. And this becomes the answer. Okay? Alright, I'm doing several things so you can I'm just doing all the varieties so you can be familiar with it. This is 2n5 minus 6n4 plus 8n squared all over negative 2n cubed. So we do it the same way we've been doing it. This is 2n raised to power 5 divided by negative 2n cubed minus 6n4 all over negative 2n cubed plus 8n squared all over negative 2n cubed. Now, let me deviate a bit. You know that we can check all the things, all the answers we have gotten. We can check it whether we are right or wrong. How do you check whether a division process is correct? It's by multiplying. Okay? And I'm going to talk about that in the next video. I'll talk about it very well because we're going to check our work in the next video. Now, I do not always require my students to check for division of polynomials, it is pretty straightforward. But if it's division by binomials, where we are going to use the long division, you will check as my student. You're going to check it. You will check your work. Checking has some points on its own. Okay, so we're going to do that. But just as a quick way, how do you check a division? By multiplying. How do you check a subtraction? By adding. If you have 8 divided by 2 and you got 4, how do you check whether you're right? You just multiply 2 times 4 will give you 8. So dividend will be divisor times quotient plus remainder. 8, the dividend will be divisor 2 times quotient 4 plus remainder 0. This is how you check it. The left hand side will be your right hand side. Dividend is equal to divisor times quotient plus remainder. That is the way we check it. So it is important, if all the quotients we've been getting, like this is the quotient and we don't have a remainder, all the things we've been getting is quotient. When you multiply that quotient by the divisor, this is the divisor, it will give you the dividend. Yeah. It's going to waste time if I check it here on the video because it's going to be a long video. Yeah, but that is the way you check it. Yeah. So, alright. So this will now be 2 divided by 2, the signs first. Positive divided by negative is negative. 2 divided by 2 is 1. Then n, 5 minus 3 is 2. Negative divided by negative is positive. 6 divided by 2 is 3. Then n, 4 minus 3 is 1. And then plus divided by minus is minus. 8 divided by 2, 4. Now in this case, n squared over n cubed. You see that 2 minus 3 is negative 1. Okay, if you bring down this 2 here, it will be 3 minus 2, which is 1. This is negative 4 over n. Yeah, because this will be negative 1 now. N times n over n times n times n. 2 n's on top will cancel 2 n's at the bottom. That's 2 n's at the numerator, cancel 2 n's at the denominator. You still have 1 n at the denominator. Yeah, or you just do it, division process, 2 minus 3 to be negative 1. You bring it down 1 over n. Or you can bring this one down here. You can do that also. N to be here, and then 3 minus 2, which is n here. Okay, 3 more to go, and we call this a knife. Seven. 130 R11 minus 70 R10 plus 150 R9 minus 110 R8 all over 10 R12. Okay, so this will be what? 130 R11 over 10 R12 minus 70 R10 over 10 R12 plus 150 R9 over 10 R12 minus 110 R8 over 10 R12. Okay, in all these ones, the exponent at the numerator is less than the exponent at the denominator. When you have that kind, of course, you know that and you want a positive exponent. That means the exponent, the variable will have to be at the denominator. If it has to be a positive exponent. Okay, so 130 divided by 10 is 13, and this is arrow 11, here is arrow 12. Bring down this 11 here, it will be 13 over r, because 12 minus 11 is 1. Then minus 70 divided by 10 is 7. Bring down this here, 12 minus 10 is r squared, plus 150 divided by 10 is 15. Bring down this is r cubed, minus 11 over R4. This becomes your answer. Okay. Question 8. Okay, this is we have to be careful here. 140x5 y4 minus 100 x squared y cubed plus 60 x squared y raised to the power 4 minus 40 x raised to the power 5 y raised to the power 3 all over 20xy squared. Okay, so don't be scared because you have two variables here. It's still the same principle. Okay, the way we've been doing single variables, like this is R only, but this is now two variables, x and y. Don't be scared, it's the same thing. So we still do what we've been doing, 140 x raised to the power 5 y4 over 20 xy squared minus 100 x squared y cubed over 20 xy squared plus 60 x squared y4 over 20 xy squared minus 40 x5 y cubed over 20 xy squared. Okay, 140 divided by 20 is what? 7, right? Then x5 divided by x5 minus 1 is x4. Then y4 divided by y squared is y squared. 4 minus 2 is 2. Okay, then minus divided by plus is minus. 100 divided by 20 is 5. Then x squared 2 minus 1 is 1. Then y, so x raised to the power 1 is just x. Y, the same thing, 3 minus 2 is 1. Then plus divided by plus is plus. 60 divided by 20 is 4. I'm sorry, 3. Come on, Sam. Okay. Take it easy. Breathe in, out, calm down. So this is 3. Then x squared divided by x is x. Y, 4 divided by y squared is y squared. Now when you're doing this, you have to really be careful, you know, very careful. Then minus 40 divided by 20 is 2. X5, 5 minus 1 is 4. Then y, 3 minus 2 is 1. This becomes your answer. And after doing it, you might want to just look at it again to check, to make sure that you're right, you know, so you don't make mistakes, you know. So you take some time and check it to make sure that it's correct. All right. I think I have gone through all these things you might get under division by monomial. I'll do the last one and then that will be number 9. 200 C5D 6 minus 160 C4D 7 minus 120 C3D9 plus 80 C squared D squared all over 40 C squared D. Okay, so this would be what? 200 C5 D6 over 40 C squared D minus 160 C4 D7 over 40 C squared D minus 120 C cubed D raised to the power 9 over 40 C squared D plus 80 C squared D squared over 40 C squared D. Okay, 200 divided by 40 is 5. Okay, so this is 5. C5 is 3. 5 minus 2 is 3. D, 6 minus 1 is 5. Okay, minus 160 divided by 40 is 4. C, 4 minus 2 is 2. D, 7 minus 1 is 6. Minus 120 divided by 40 is 3. C, 3 minus 2 is 1. D, 9 minus 1 is 8. plus 80 divided by 40 is 2. C squared divided by C squared is 1, with C raised to power 0, which is 1. This, then D plus 2D. And this becomes your answer. Okay, so I think that is it for tonight. If you have any question, please, if you are my student, you ask the question in class when we meet in class, or you just send me an email. But it's good you bring it to class. If you are not my student, you can go to my website and contact me. I have a new website which I have already launched. Now, the former website I had is going to expire in June, and I don't plan on renewing it. Okay, so I just have a new website now that is functional, which is my name, www.samuelchukwuemeka.com, samuelchukwuemeka.com. So that is my new website. I've launched it and it's functional. It's working. All right. Thank you so much, students, for listening to this video presentation. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. You can ask me either through my website, or you can ask me on the YouTube page. Thank you so much for listening, and you have a good evening.